Hello, welcome back to another Pen Talk. Thanks for tuning in. For those of you that have been wondering, I haven't seen a PenBBS video from Chris for a while. Well, here we go. Here's one. And I have to admit that this isn't the last of the PenBBS videos because there was some nice pens posted on Sunday on the Etsy site. So I snagged two more. I think they're 480s in two unique resins, colors, finishes, however you want to describe it. So these were the ones that I ordered about a month ago. And I didn't get a cat sticker with them, so I included one of these from a previous order. So yes, these are two models, a 469 and a 480. So I have both of these models. These are different colors of these models, and there are colors. This is the 64 color, and it's called Kryptonite, and it says transparent because the middle section of the 469 has always been transparent. The 456 sometimes has transparent barrel with a cap and a blind cap that are of a colored resin. The 309 also has that type of design. And this is a 480, and this is in Frostfire, which is the 63 color. So there's this big number here, which started showing up a number of months ago. And that number I don't think really has any bearing on the model or the color. This is just their identification number, maybe a tracking number. But we'll never know. So let's get the pens out of these boxes and look at them. Here we have the three Frostfire PenBBS pens that I have in three different models. I think this is a excellent way to take a look at the three models of what I would call their classic pen design, a cartridge converter, classic shape. The top one here is the 480, which I recently got. And next to it is the 308, which you could say was the precursor to the 480. A lot of similar design characteristics with rounded ends. These are a little bit more pointy here. The 480 is a little longer. And then we have the 352, which has the square ends. You know, think about it like the Pro Gear in the 1911, or the Pilot pens that come in pointy ends and flat ends like the 74 and the 91. So it's a common trait that a lot of pen makers have followed. You know, I don't think many, at least this color, I've not seen in gold trim, but that doesn't mean it hasn't come in gold trim. The 352 and the 480 have the new sword designed clip, where the 308 has that original, you know, more classic design clip. They both have a cap band here. The 308 extends and covers the entire end of the cap, where the 480 and the 352 do not. So, you know, I haven't had any issues with this little extension here cracking, and I do post most of my pens. So let's take a look at these a little closer. This resin is fairly consistent. On the 352, you can see the converter in there where you don't really see it as much in the other two. So there is areas of transparency. If we turn it a little bit, we'll see the buoyancy works to kind of mask it a little bit. And that's the one thing that's nice about this resin. You know, all these types of resins do have variations in them, some of them more than others, but if you like blue and you like this type of finish, then this is something you might want to look for. Sadly, these pens come and go, sometimes quickly, sometimes not, depending upon how many pens are able to make. This resin's been in production for well over a year, so it's lasted quite a long period of time, but PenBBS seems to be able to find stocks of resins for their newer pens, so like the 480, that follows them with the resin that they had in the earlier models. In posting, they still show a similar length, and they do post relatively well. I wouldn't call them, the 308 has the best posting from my perspective. The 480 can be a little bit loose at time, and the 352 is kind of in between those two models. Zooming in on this section, all of these three sections are classic in design. They all have a flare out at the end. The 480 is a little bit more of abrupt flare out, where here is the taper just goes out and between the 352 and the 308. And they're all about the same length. The 480 has this design element of this metal ring here between the section and the barrel. I don't think the ring is functional. It's just there from my viewpoint from aesthetics. I find all of these sections to be very comfortable. My favorite is still the 308 of all the PenBBS sections, followed by the 456. And yes, I did swap in a Moonman nib into the 352, and I love it. I think it's a fine bordering on medium, extremely smooth, extremely consistent, laying down a nice wet line. And I find that this, is a little bit nicer than the round medium on PenBBS pens, which I really liked in the beginning, but now that Moonman has upgraded their nibs, Fullerton has upgraded their nibs, and the Fullerton medium is also an excellent nib, which will fit into the PenBBS pens. You may ask, Chris, I really like the Frostfire, but I wish it came in green. Your prayers are answered. This is another 480 that I reviewed. It's one of my first ones. It's color 107. We'll give you the full designation. And it is a very similar finish, but it's in green. Same type of pearlescence, chatoyancy, same type of transparency. So if you've asked that question, you now have an answer. Now on to the Kryptonite finish. A beautiful green, probably one of the nicest green resins from my viewpoint. Here's your 308, and this was a gift, which I really appreciate, from someone who likes green pens. And I like green pens, but I also like all the other colors also very well. This resin is fairly consistent between these two pens, and they're probably made well over 6 months in difference between the two pens. Let's take a closer look at the Kryptonite resin. It has kind of like that cracked ice design to it. Different colors of green, and that's pretty nice. I mean, it's also nice when you get this finish where there's chunks of all different types of colors in it, but this to me works very, very well. And there's a little bit of pearlescence there, just enough to add some dimension and variety to the pen. To me, the 469 is just a unique animal, and it did come with a roller ball and an eyedropper to fill it with, and that's just a nice addition. And for like $30 for a pen with potentially 3 nibs and extremely well designed, it's heavy in the hand. Those of you might recognize this pen from another pen reviewer, and I did comment on his video. So let me diverge a little bit and look at something else. So here are 3 469s that I've had inked up since I got them. So it's been well over 3 months. Many of these I've had to refill, so I've gone through all the ink that I put in there originally, which is not a small amount of ink that fits in there. And I've not had any leaking, burping on any of these pens. And they've been carried around, they've been knocked around. I store them vertically, so one nib is down, one nib is up, and I don't find any issues with this design at all. It's unfortunate that another reviewer did have issues. Overall, I strongly recommend this design if you're interested in it, if you like it. I mean, the colors, how can you say no to the incredible variety of colors? Again, these pens come and go on Etsy and eBay, so if it's something you're interested in, you got to grab one when you see it. And I think the PenBBS pricing on Etsy is the most reasonable. PenBBS pens can vary quite a bit, but you know, if I was going to go looking for a PenBBS pen, I would first check Etsy, the PenBBS official store on Etsy, and if I didn't find what I wanted there, I would check eBay. But if I did find it, I would still check eBay. Sometimes you can get a deal because eBay sometimes will have no shipping, where PenBBS charges you shipping, but it's one cost for no matter what you order in a single order, so that's good. And the delivery is relatively fast. It's usually 2 weeks plus or minus a couple days, very consistent when I order from PenBBS on Etsy. So we've reached the end of this video. Hopefully you found it interesting. If you want to check out any of the PenBBS Pens writing, please look at some of my other videos. I've done videos on all the 469s that I showed you that have ink in them. I've done multiple ones on the 308s and the 480s and the 352s. I just thought it'd be good to put these two pens together. And obviously there's a nice pen rest. This one is actually in Frostfire, and this one is emerald, but it actually goes quite well with the Kryptonite finish. As you probably have guessed, I really enjoy PenBBS pens. I wish they wouldn't keep coming out with so many models and so many colors. That just prompt me to send some of my money to them so they can send me some pens that I don't need, but I really do enjoy them. I just find them to be amazing from not just a pen and writing perspective, but also from a visual perspective. And to me, you might call it eye candy, or you may have other phrases that refer to it, but looking at something beautiful certainly gives me a lot of positive feelings, and I enjoy that. And I really appreciate their consistency of manufacturing, their quality of manufacturing, that I've not had any issues with any of them. And the new pens, I was able to pull out the nib and feed very easily, and of course I washed and cleaned those, which I always would do because that's just good pen hygiene, which I encourage everyone to practice. So enjoy your day, enjoy your writing, no matter what instrument you use to write. Share your thoughts, keep them to yourself, put them in a journal, send a letter to one of your pen pals, whatever you enjoy doing, or just looking at the pens that you have and holding them may be a pleasure by itself. Thank you for watching. May you have a great, wonderful life. Enjoy every aspect of it. Have fun. We're going to say bye for now until the next video.